This week on Painted Plastic.
Nope. Hey everybody, welcome back to Painted Plastic. Brandon here, and you can hear my voice. I'm just trying to get over a cold, and I don't really have anything important to say anyway, so let's head on over to the bench and we'll start priming the X-Wing. Alright guys, over at the paint booth, got our trusty Stynylrez gray primer. Yep, give it a darn good shake. Got it in the airbrush, neat, and pressure's right around 20, 22, somewhere in that range. So let's jump right in. We'll start with the wing assembly. As usual, you start with a really light coat. Just get a little paint on the surface. You're not looking for everything to be covered in the first pass. The Stynylrez primer is really nice. It goes down ultra smooth. It's almost no-brainer primer. So as long as you kind of take your time and move around the model, should get a pretty nice finish. Alright, moving into this is the lower fuselage, the hull, I guess. And same as before, just, a really light coat at first. And then just go back over it. Priming is really straightforward. On this piece I am priming the inside just to avoid any light leak. But yeah, here's the upper fuselage. And same thing. Keep in mind this is sped up, so the paint looks like it's going on a lot thicker than it actually is. Really light coats is the key. Alright, let's do some pre-shading. This is a really fun technique. I'm going to use Rubber Black. This is Tamiya XF85. I've mixed it here about 50-50 with thinner. And as you know, I decant my paints into little drippers because it's just easier. But got into my Iwata Neo airbrush. With the crown cap removed there. It just gives you a nice fine line. And I've got the paint mixed about 50-50 like I said. PSI is right around 18. And then I'm just going in and kind of outlining panels. That's really the only point. It doesn't have to be neat, doesn't have to be tidy. Here you can see I'm just going around the thrusters, giving a little detail to the thrusters, but you're mainly just concerned with outlining panels at this point. Again, it doesn't have to be neat, doesn't have to be tidy. All of this is going to be covered up. This is the Nosecone. As you can see, just picking out all the edges. And the upper fuselage, again, just outlining, right? Any variations in the line is fine. That's just going to be, it's just going to be an added detail in the paint. Moving over to the lower hull. yeah, as you can see, it's just outlining, going over the whole kit and just outlining, giving a little detail. But that's it. It's a fun technique, and it really adds a whole lot to your finished paint job. All right, let's head back over to the bench. All right, everybody, here is the X-Wing. Pre-shading is done. I don't know how well it came out in the, the video of in the booth, but as you can see, it's really messy. It does not have to be precise, this bit, right? Basically just outlining panels, adding a little bit of interest. Once this is all base coated, some of these little dark areas will still show through, and that's all you really want, right? Not looking for super precision on this step. So that's the pre-shading. Up next, we will give all this a good coat with some Tamiya Flat White, and the base colors will be done. It'll be time to move on. So one thing I want to mention for the cockpit, that is not pre-shaded, right? That is just painted black, right? The reason for that is I want to kind of dry brush some of these little details. We'll get into that later on. And then the seat will get painted and all the things. I only really did pre-shading right across the back here, and some of this will have some detail once we go back in. Same with the pilot, right? I don't know if you can is that even going to focus? He's just straight black, right? That'll add some shading once we get into painting him. So did that for the pilot and for the wee little R2. Oh, little R2 cute. Look how tiny he is. So, yep, those were just straight painted black, right? Pardon my reaching all through the camera. Yep. Okay. But everything else was just real messily hit, right? Does not have to be precise. Pre-shading is not about precision. So, let's head back over to the paint booth, and we will get some base colors, right? Base colors. All right. Be right back. All right.
Base.
I got the Tamiya XF2 half and half with thinners, and yeah. Alright, so I got the paint thinned about 50-50, just like the rubber black. Pressure's same as rubber black, it's about 18. And start here with the wings. The first coat is just a really light all-over coat. Keep in mind this is sped up, so it looks like it's heavier than it is. But once I get a nice all-over coat, then I go back in and just start focusing on the center of the panel, kind of feathering it out, retaining some of that shade around the edge of the panels. But yeah, it's not a hard technique, but it does take a little practice to make it look natural. You don't want it to look like it's feathered. That's kind of how I approach my base coat. Moving into the lower fuselage, and same thing. First coat's really light all over. Once I get a nice all over layer, here I'm just going in center of panels and brightening up the center while retaining some of that dark around the edges. Alright, moving into the upper fuselage, and exact same thing. Like I said, it's a technique of just kind of little by little building up the white, retaining some of the shadow. It really adds a lot to your finished model to have those kind of variations. So now that I got both of these painted, I do always compare them. Parts that are going to be connected together, if there's a variation between the two, it's going to be really dramatic when you snap them together. So I always just side by side, make sure it's a similar tone, you know. So here I just threw in the little R2 just for fun. And he's just going to be all over solid white, not really worried about any variation here. Honestly, you're not going to see much of this anyway because he's going to be tucked down in the ship. But yeah, just an all over white coat. So yeah, let's head back over to the bench. Okay, here we go. Got the base color down. This is 2 coats, basically. You know, white's one of those funny colors where you really got to let it dry, right? Do what you think looks right. Let it sit for a while. These have actually only been sitting about 30 minutes or so, so I'm going to give them overnight, and tomorrow kind of reassess, right? I mean, it looks pretty good, but it might still be a little bit too gray, especially once it dries. Anyway, here's the wing assembly, and I went a little lighter on the wings, wanted a little more of the weathering showing through. So yeah, I don't know, we'll see in the morning. Might get another coat or so. The next episode we'll do one of two things. We'll either carry on with the plane itself, right, get it kind of at this point we can almost assemble a little bit and then kind of assess where we are for weathering, or I'm kind of wanting to paint the pilot, right? It's you know, it's fun to do some of the little detail figure painting, so may do that next episode. I don't know, we'll see. But I'm gonna let these dry. I'm gonna end this video here. So as always, thank you for watching. Hope you had fun. I will see you on episode 4. Thanks for hanging out.